Hey everyone, in this slightly inane luxury goods video, I'm going to talk about this Ferragamo belt, and I'm going to go through what I think about it. Now, there isn't a huge amount to say about it because it's a belt, but I figured I'd do a bit of a review on it because A, I have it, B, sometimes people consider buying these, so I figured why not. Alright, so basically this belt is a reversible Guncini belt. It is actually a little bit out of date now, so you could probably pick it up for cheap. Ferragamo itself has sales, so that also helps. Now the belt itself is reversible, i.e. this buckle is just going to flip around, which means that in my case you can wear it as a brown belt, or you can wear it as a black belt, whatever you kind of want to do. The actual length of it, it comes basically in one standard length, which is then cut at the shop. I.e. they'll take this bit under the buckle and they'll hack it away to the length that you need it to be, and then they'll reseal the buckle at the end. So it's basically pretty adjustable in that respect, but of course once you shorten it, you can't exactly lengthen it afterwards, so err on the side of caution. And if you're not totally sure, you're better off putting in more holes here than you are shortening the belt. Now in terms of fastening it, functions as normal. You put it through the loop and then you clasp it. It kind of stays together as you would expect. It's pretty solid. Now in terms of workmanship, there's probably a few components to it. Firstly, the actual buckle itself is reasonably hard wearing. The adjustability mechanism never seems to fail for me. It kind of is quite smooth, but it has a satisfying click. So there's nothing hugely earth-shattering to say about it. The actual metal sometimes gets a little bit scratched, so just be careful of that, because if you're not careful, it's obviously going to become tarnished and not as nice as it was to begin with. However, if you take better care of it than I evidently have, that shouldn't be a problem. The leather itself is quite hard wearing. It's much harder wearing and better than a lot of other belts I have. So to some extent you're paying a bit of a price premium for quality compared to cheaper belts. Now the actual leather is quite a decent color. Sometimes you'll find that the leather picks up marks and blemishes. However, I've found that I can often get rid of those with leather cleaner, which means that it's reasonably hard wearing, or at least better than you might initially think, particularly on both sides. So I initially had this concern that the brown would become worn and not as nice, but it actually is better and harder wearing than I thought it was going to be, and I wear it actually quite frequently, so I'm wearing it reasonably often. Now in terms of the buckle itself, this buckle is an older style now, which just has one hole in it, or one little circle here. At the moment they're prioritizing two circles. However, that's obviously going to be ebbs and flows of it, so they will probably come back to one circle at one point anyway. The thing that I like about it is it is kind of innocuous. It's not over the top. It's not kind of like this big silver chunk. It's not gigantic, which means I can wear it with more business-like attire. Or I can wear it more informally. It's kind of flexible. Whereas if it were like this gigantic chunky silver thing, which is going to be super ugly anyway, you can't really wear it with a suit. Whereas this one will generally work for whatever I need it to work for, so when I'm traveling, I can take one belt and it's fine. I.e. if I'm flying on a long haul trip, I don't really want to have to take mountains upon mountains of belts. I'd rather just take one, and this serves that purpose. Now in terms of other things you get when you get it, obviously you get sort of a carry bag here. I kind of keep it because I usually prefer to keep the bags for things that I've got, because if I were to ever sell it hypothetically, this is going to be useful for sale, and I get utility out of maintaining value from the things I own. You'll also obviously get an envelope with the receipt, which I happen to have retained. There's nothing terribly exciting to say about that. There's a receipt in there, that's pretty much it, and then that lives in the bag. Again, nothing hugely exciting. Now in terms of the belt, I actually kind of like having it. I don't think it's bad value for money. I think there are significantly worse value belts out there because this is flexible, it's hard wearing, it's usable with whatever I want to use it with, so it's decently good value for money. And people who are in the know that it's a Ferragamo belt without it being over the top. I.e. it's not like there's logos and everything emblazoned everywhere, it's kind of subtle, which I prefer. Alright, so those are my thoughts on this Ferragamo belt, why I like it, why I think it's decent value, and my general review overall. Now I've tried to prevent this being too inane. If you have any thoughts about this belt, drop those in the comments below. If you think I've missed anything, also put those in the comments below as well. Otherwise, thanks so much for listening in. I hope this mini review has been useful or maybe vaguely interesting to you. If it has, click the like and subscribe buttons, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.